because of superheroes and stuff. So, and she wants to destroy, that's a great word, destroy Mount Opolis. Okay, so that is the problem that is in the story. But there are two solutions that the mice come up with, okay? Who can tell me what is the first solution that they decided to try? Jaylin, I will write it in red.
They decided to put him back.
Was that the first solution? No, right? What was the first solution? Does anybody remember? You guys have read it so many times. Leilani. They did try to attack with the soldiers. So let's try to put that into a sentence. So who's they? The troops. So who? Remember we talked yesterday about who's their leader? Who's their
Big Cheese.
The Big Cheese. So let's say Big Cheese, and then Big Cheese. And Michelle, you said who else? Who was Big Cheese in charge of? His troops, right? Big Cheese and his troops
Wanted to attack Godzilla.
So what did they? So that's the first. That's the subject. What did they do to attack Godzilla?
Brent.
Christopher.
They took him a shower.
That was the second solution, right? They tried to attack Godzilla. What did they come out with?
A tank.
Right. So Big Cheese and his troops tried to attack Godzilla with tanks, right? But then what happened? When they came out with their tanks, what happened?
They ran.
Why?
They ran because the breast was bad.
Very good. So her doggy breath scared them away, right? So we want to her doggy breath. Oh, I put causal. So her doggy breath
Scared them away.
and remember Big Cheese said, "Are you mice or men?" And what did they say?
Mice.
They're mice, right? So her doggy breath scared
Scared the troops away.
them away. Or you could say the troops.
Big
Very
Cheese
good.
and cheese and
Okay? So did solution one work? No, their solution didn't work. So then what happened? They needed to find another solution. So then what happened after that? What happened after that? Did they just let Godzilla take over?
No.
Demi, what happened?
They came with an airplane. Helicopter.
Let's talk. Okay, so that's something that happened, right? But let's think about how did they plan their next strategy? Herman. That's okay. Alexander.
Two helicopters and a star with shampoo and a firefighter and a mice were in and sprayed water.
Okay, so these are all the things that they did to Godzilla after, right? But how did they decide to do all these things? They did something first before they decided that, hey, we're going to do this.
Professor O'Hara.
Mariana.
Went with a meeting with Professor Scarlett O'Hara.
Perfect. So Big Cheese and his army had a meeting, and then they organized what?
How to
Michelle.
things like to teach like they were saying.
That was an idiom that came up in the story. Good. The idiom was you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
But they stuff him saying like a dog.
A
Back.
bath, right? They planned and organized to give him a bath because do dogs like to take baths?
No.
Most of them don't like to take baths, right? So they knew that that would be a good strategy to try to scare Godzilla away. So let's start in the beginning. Big Cheese. Shh. Dogzilla a bat. Okay? Then what happened after they tried? And then, Alexander, you had given some details about that.
Her back into the roof of the volcano.
So, yeah. Go ahead. Say that in a sentence.
And Dogzilla went back to the volcano.
Why?
Because they take her bad and he don't like it.
So how did Dogzilla feel? She was
Scared.
right. So they scared her back into the
Volcano.
Very good. So
Volcano.
they scared Dogzilla back
To the volcano.
into the volcano. Okay? So good job, you guys. So for your story, what did you have something else?
Yeah, and then 2 years later, the other cook-off, puppies came.
Puppies came. So that's like another detail, but that kind of doesn't have anything to do with the solution and the problem, right? So that's something additional that you can add into your story. But right now we want to just focus on the problem. What is the main problem of your story? And you also need to decide who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. Some of you, for the Dogzilla story, Dogzilla is the bad guy and Dogzilla is the main character, right? But maybe some of you might think that your main character is the good guy and your supporting characters are the bad guys, okay? So you have to decide that. So today, your main objective is to think of what your main problem is, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Remember, who's our audience? Who are we writing for? First grade or kindergartners,
Yeah.
okay? So we have to think of something that's not too complicated, or else they're not going to understand because they are who we're writing for, okay? Then you want to think of just 2 solutions. What are your characters going to do to try to solve the problem, okay? So in your packet on the second page,
I have it. In the back of my page.
Jalen, can you grab me the packet out of Haley's folder? So I can show you exactly what to do. I'm sorry, yesterday I wasn't very clear with directions, so I have to make sure that you understand what to do before you. So, this is your packet, and Mariana, I stapled them on the wrong side, so it's backwards. So make sure, they kind of look the same, but just make sure when you read the top, you're at the right page, okay? So yesterday we did paragraph 1, okay? Today what you're going to do, I made it like this so it would be easy for you, okay? So you have your problem, you're going to write your problem in the box, and then you're going to think of 2 solutions. But I want you to, 1, write in complete sentences, but 2, take some time to think about how you're going to solve the problem that's at hand, right? Then, once you're done with that, you can raise your hand and Ms. Ornelas and I can come around and check. Once you're ready, you can start writing, introducing what the problem is in your next paragraph. This is paragraph 2. Those are the only things we're doing today. Can somebody tell me what we're doing today? Listen. Tell me one thing we're doing.
What is the problem?
We're going to answer what is the problem. Danny, what else are we doing?
Then I'm gonna write.
We're going to write, but in between that, what else are we